Orange Misfit back in. I got 10 more songs to rank and review. Also working on some exciting non-Blink-182 projects, as this one's drawing to a close, but I still have some very significant ground to cover here. Like I said, 10 more songs. Absolutely love all 10 of these. Even includes one that I'm surprised is on this list this early. I usually see it as a top 5 favorite of most fans' lists. But regardless, here we go with song number 40.
40. Violence. This song would be completely forgettable if not for the interlude. In the rest of the song, the overlapping talking parts just sound off, which isn't good and certainly not typical of Blink-182 harmonies. The instruments reflect a typical 4-chord pattern and repeated drum beats. Also, the lyrics don't make a whole lot of sense. How does being controlled by someone emotionally compare to violence? Is it because violence is a constant, reoccurring negative trait to humanity? That sounds like too much of a stretch to me. I'm convinced it's probably just because Tom found it amusing to pronounce the word violence in that wacky accent of his. Anyway, the interlude, it's so awesome you immediately forget how stupid and meaningless the rest of the lyrics are. The guitar is so tacit and unique, and the effects on Tom's vocals are unbelievably trippy. Mark's harmonies are good too, except for the unintelligible nonsense someone's muttering in the background, but that's easy to ignore. I'd recommend just skipping to the interlude and forgetting about what comes before and after it. 39. Wendy Clear. This song's based on one of Mark's love affairs with a record producer. The idea is a good one for a song, and I love the line, "It might be inappropriate because either way our band gets dropped, oh yeah," because it perfectly sums up the situation and how bleak the outcomes are. I will say the moving on, moving on, moving on and on and on part is the highlight of the song, and it's even better on the Mark, Tom, and Travis show with the harmonies, but the double tracking on the studio version is still a good enough job. The main riff isn't that good and gets repetitive like Mutt. The song does have an interesting chord progression though that actually mixes itself up now and then, which is a lot more than many of their songs. The bass sounds cool when the guitar cuts out and the organ is an interesting touch. It's definitely one of the better songs on Enema. 38. Boxing Day. What a festive, jolly old tune. It's quite a contrast to I Won't Be Home for Christmas, since they both have that holiday subject matter, yet there's that drastic change in style. The song's not tough in the slightest. I mean, we could reignite like fireflies. That sappiness should be reserved for Owl City. Ugh. Mark's vocals are extraordinary. There's a parallel to the ones in Mother's Day, except these words are actually serious. The acoustic chord progression and drummer boy drum beat actually make this feel like a Christmas song. The lyrics are on the worst side though, and there are some out-of-place lines about the painkiller addiction, and lyrics are unfortunately pathetic and emo at times as well. You left me on the day after Christmas, and I'm empty like the day after Christmas. Not horrible, and the day after Christmas certainly feels empty, making it a clever comparison, but still, it's just a little too emo for my taste. Anyway, putting that aside, it's still a great song the whole family can enjoy on the holidays, especially Boxing Day, which has been an underappreciated and unexplored holiday in music. 37. Pathetic. The back and forth vocals make this song awesome, and the belong harmony is among their best. The album version is severely lacking compared to the live album version, but it's still alright aside from the inferior vocals and lacking of the second belong. I like the strong message of inferiority and patheticness this song conveys. I suppose knowing and admitting you're pathetic is half the battle. Pathetic is one of the best songs on the album because it's fun to play, sing, and listen to. Its uniqueness stands out on Dude Ranch. Yes, it's bitter and girl whining isn't new, but the instruments are more varied and experimental than a lot of their stuff that was on Cheshire Cat. I wish they still played it live. You can tell how much fun they had playing it during the Big Day Out show. 36. Mutt. This song makes me think of the scene in American Pie, although I'm not sure why it was used because the only part that makes any sense in describing the movie is the "he's only looking to score" line. Anyway, it's an alright song. It's either pretty amusing or depressing to think scumbags like these two actually exist. The song's biggest strength is the way that the narrator tries to one-up the pair's horribleness one line at a time. The music is okay. I like the effect on Tom's guitar, but those 3 notes get old really fast. The bass is hard to hear, and it's clear that Scott's drums fit better on the original demo and don't work as well on the slightly more clean and pop transformation it took from the original. It's not amazing, but a more than worthy addition and a good fit on Enema. 35. Love is Dangerous. There's a good unified theme here. It reminds you a lot of Shakespeare's Othello, but that's probably a ridiculous idea that inspired this song. The feeling of duplicity and doubt is well done. I've had it with this damn double vision, and it's all static, just like my television. are some really great lines. Too bad the music is just off and so un-Blink-182 like. It sounds like incoherent static, much like the TV in the song. Also, spoken word harmonies work poorly here like they do in Violence. The ending's quite lazy, and I don't understand the point of the random guitar chords and notes. It sounds like someone who just learned guitar fooling around for about a minute. However, I do like how the chorus effectively overlaps so that Tom's love utterance reflects Mark's lines. The line, "We're all fools so we all pretend to fuck," is ruined by that word. Not because it's a bad word, but it could have been better if it was fine, because it would syncs better with Tom saying love after, and also it's more about the charade and pain that comes from relationships and not about random sex. Well, at least it's still a well-written song, aside from a few problems. 34. The Rock Show. Mark's equivalent of First Date. This song is a by-the-books Blink song. It's a good radio hit, although it's kind of a stretch they are still writing songs about high school and being worried about parents when they were about 30 at this point. But ignoring that, it's good for its purpose, about finding a new love at the rock show. The interlude is one of their best, and it's the highlight of the song, as well as a nice break from the harder, louder sounds of the rest of it. Rock Show is a hard rock sound, which is certainly fitting, but its lyrics aren't really like a rock song. Maybe it should have been named The Pop Show. 33. Going Away to College. I think of this as the prequel to Don't Leave Me, since they're very similar in tone and both discuss different problems and points of the relationship. In this case, it's issues of long distance and maturity. The lyrics are consistent and truthful in appearance. The harmonies are very quiet in the studio album and sound horribly off on the live album, so I guess there's just no version to enjoy them. I like the flanger and acoustic combo of the intro guitar that would later be imitated and stay together for the kids. It's a sweet song that doesn't get too embarrassing and horrendous like I'm Lost Without You. I'm sure this song made an important impact for giving guys the option to sing this to their high school sweethearts when they left them behind for college in 2000. 32. Emo. It's odd that the Blink-182 song called Emo isn't even close to being their most emo song, though it's fairly emo in regards to the singer's depressed crisis over a girl. I wonder if it's even referring to the same kind of emo I'm thinking of, like the blood on the dance floor kind. I'm not sure if that kind of emo was used back then. Maybe it's just short for emotional, like in the literal sense. Anyway, I enjoy the song. It's one of my favorites. Certainly one of the best on Dude Ranch. Mark's vocals are very well done, and while Tom's are nasally, they are still effective. I especially like the line, "She's better off sleeping on the floor," because it's an awesome low sound on the vocals that's superbly double-tracked. And it's also a unique and somewhat humorous image that I can imagine this girl lying on the cold floor with a pissed-off look while the D-bag in the song hogs all the blankets on the bed. The outro is also an excellent way to conclude the song, because now we know that she's on the floor because she fell right off the bed. 31. Dumpweed. The second best choice to start off the album. This is a perfect pop-punk representation, and Tom's near incomprehensible vocals with fast-paced instruments mends well with a song that whines about how relationships and girls suck. The ending guitar is also a nice touch, and I enjoy the echo effect on Tom's vocals. Some of the lyrics are kind of stupid and lazy, especially the "I need a girl that I can train" part. I just imagine Tom in a backyard trying to train a girl like a dog in a collar, and that's not something I want to picture. But it's not really a glaring flaw. Anyway, it does everything it needs to. Musically, it has enough that it doesn't get repetitive, and some of the lines, the ones you can understand, are somewhat memorable, which goes back to my original point of what an ideal pop-punk styled song this is.
That does it for this list. Next time we'll have 10 more songs, which will include 2 more greatest hits and also the other Christmas songs, a bit of spoiler. Check out the channel for new content, Blink-182 and otherwise. See you next time.